Hi, this week on Women Who Rise, I'm joined by the incredible Towanna Peterson-Jackson, real estate powerhouse, mentor, and change maker, redefining what leadership looks like. She's sharing how she built one of Michigan's top producing real estate teams and how she's using her success to create generational wealth and change the statistics for the next generation. It's all about rising through service, vision, and unstoppable belief. You do not want to miss this one. Hey, everyone, and welcome to Women Who Rise. I'm your host, Heather Mansy. Today, I'm joined by Towanna Peterson-Jackson. She is a powerhouse real estate leader, mentor, and U.S. Army veteran who has redefined what it means to build both a business and a legacy. As co-founder of Team Peterson-Jackson Real Estate Professionals, one of Michigan's top producing eXp Realty teams, she has led her organization to remarkable success while mentoring the next generation of realtors to create lasting impact in their communities. Towanna's philosophy centers on using real estate as a tool for generational wealth, equity, and empowerment, especially her underrepresented families. Her voice resonates on stages across the country, from EXPCon to industry leadership events, where she reminds us that success is not just about production, but about purpose, preparation, and people. Welcome to the show, Towanna.
Thank you, Heather. I appreciate that. I'm gonna tell LaShawn she needs to take notes. Introduce me like that.
There you go. I need to ask my
Yes.
husband to create a bio and introduce me the same way, right?
Right, right.
Well, so I'm so grateful to have you on the show today. I have had the great blessing to witness you on stage several times. You are a dynamic, entertaining, and really comical speaker. But you also have statements that just hit you right between the eyes. You speak in what I would call truthisms. You are so interesting to watch, and I've told you this before. So to have you on the show today is a real pleasure. So I wanted to go back to kind of the beginning. Before leading one of Michigan's most successful real estate teams, what was your earliest career memory, or perhaps a defining moment or experience from maybe your military or professional beginnings that shaped your mindset around leadership and the concept of service?
Ooh, if I had to go back, so my earliest job memory, believe it or not, was working for my grandmother in her store. She owned a little store. The guy she was married to at the time, who known as my grandfather, she was a stay-at-home mom, and so not mom at the time. She wasn't married. She was just stay-at-home wife, and she wanted something to do, so he made a little store out there. And since my sister and I and a lot of our cousins, all of our parents worked for General Motors or, Ford or some type of plant. So they would send us down so they could work overtime. And that's how a lot of us learned how to do math in our head. You had, like, working with my grandmother, you had to know how to count. It wasn't calculators or things like that. You had to pull the pencil out. And so we would spend all day in Bessemer, Alabama selling.
Wow.
So my
I love
first
that.
love the sales.
I
And
love
I
that
hated
because you
sales.
were able to get that experience of being
Yeah,
taught by, another generation other than your parents, which is like we say, you can take away lessons from every generation very differently. Her life was a very different one than maybe your
absolutely.
parents, and your life and your kids' lives, very different. So I think that's incredible because she was teaching you guys skills you probably had no idea at the time how useful that would be?
My, so everyone always used to say, "Oh my God, Tawanna, you're so intelligent, you're so smart." And I was like, "No, I'm not." But when we got to school now we were small doing this. By the time we got to kindergarten and able to go to school, we already knew how to do math and write our name, and we could read. She gave us everything that she knew because my grandmother was only able to go up to a sixth grade education. So to her, I had to hurry up and I want to teach you guys. And my first cousins, me and my sister, she taught us all of that. We knew all the lessons before we got to school. So it was
Oh my
always
gosh.
very slow to me. So I never thought I was
Yeah.
smart. I just was prepped early.
Uh-huh.
So
And I love that because to be honest, like, what is the difference, you know?
right.
You can have someone worried, well, and you can have someone learning something new or worried, are they gonna be really fit for a job of real estate or just whatever? But you're kind of an example of, well, if you prep enough, people won't know the difference. And in fact, what is that difference, you know? Because you were smarter than the average bear by the
Oh
time,
my
you know,
goodness,
you made it into
Heather.
school.
My grandmother used to say that to me. That's what oh my God, that is the exact statement
I
that she
love
would
that.
say to me, "Tawanna, you're smarter than the average bear." I love that.
The world is so full of amazingness, I have to tell you. Yeah, that is really fun because I'll say talking to you always feels like I'm talking to a best friend or something. So how fun that I managed to say that. Yes,
Yes.
and to your point, my mother did a great job of teaching us some of those early things and wanting us to be able to be very well prepped for kindergarten or first grade or whatever. And it feels good knowing something. No matter how elementary that may be or elemental, it feels really good. So I love that. Can you draw a connection between maybe how, you know, she prepped you and taught you, and maybe how you became a leader, or rather, how you formulated your leadership style? And did, in fact, being in the military have anything to do as well with your leadership style now that you have your company?
So I knew very early in my life that I wanted to go to the military. Don't know why. My father was in the military. Maybe
Mhm.
I mean, he's my favorite person. So that
Uh,
may be one of the reasons. My grandfather also on my mom's side was in the military. So it is a generation thing for my family. So I think kind of a service mindset to humankind has always been something that we just do. We take care of people. My father now is a pastor, so he's tending to his flock, retired pastor, because his full-time job is taking care of my mom, who unfortunately is succumbing to the battle of dementia.
um,
But he has her at home, and the level of service that he is just providing to hold on to his to his vows of
vows.
marriage is just something that is, I mean, it'll
Yeah,
make you tear up to see
yeah,
someone to care like that, you know?
yeah.
So I had all these great examples in my life of loving and caring for other people. And I talk about my grandmother on my dad's side and her having the store, but there was no other place around her that was a store at the time. So
Wow.
she was providing a service for people in walking distance
Oh my gosh.
because they had a car. So they
Uh-huh.
would drive in, pick up things, and just have them there conveniently for people. When she finally moved up to Michigan, she was doing pancake breakfasts, and she was like, well, where are we going to be able to go in her senior community to have a breakfast? And she would have us down there helping with the breakfasts and helping with the bingo games and things she would do and help her. She would do trips to go out to Vegas. And I'm like, Grandma, who's gonna ride a bus from Michigan to Vegas? But she had all these ladies, and I would meet people, throughout my life who, oh, I used to travel with your grandmother.
Oh my
This lady had
gosh.
a sixth grade education. She was helping people balance their checkbook, because they
Yeah.
had less education than
Less than
she
she
did.
had.
So
Wow.
she always felt that it was it's always a service. We have to help those who either are less fortunate or those who are maybe not less fortunate, but less fortunate in humanity, and
Mhm.
teach them that way. So
This is
it's
so
just my right.
amazing. This is so amazing, and I just kind of want to call this out, Tawana, because in our world, people are constantly, and I mean the world of real estate and team leaders and owners and people speaking on stage and all the kind of things. People who can often make really great incomes and help and change the lives of average buyers and sellers and people that we come across. But there's something that is kind of a buzzword, which is talking about imposter syndrome. Like someone that may go, oh, well, I want to be bigger, better, more, but I feel like I'm not good enough. And this is, I think, one of the most, amazing lessons that I can think of to kind of counteract the difficulty of this imposter syndrome. It's like, get out of your own head because your grandma had this concept of service beyond her own concern about her lack of education, limit of education, or self-worth. She did not, I imagine she didn't spend a lot of time ruminating on the fact that she had a sixth grade education. Instead, it was clear she was quite busy making an impact and giving of herself to others. And that was what led her. And I've often said, in order to get out of your own head about yourself, if you can simply just provide service to another human being, it will get you out of that head and it will get you in a different frame of mind, and that will help get you over any thoughts of inadequacy, like I'm not good enough for the moment at hand. And this is huge what you just said about your grandma, because I cannot sit here with a bachelor's degree and go, I'm not good enough to get on stage and talk today because Tawanna's grandma, had no excuse. It's like no excuse for me because your grandma sat there with a sixth grade education and said, you know what, I have something to contribute here. This person doesn't even have a sixth grade education. Or maybe they went, but they didn't grasp how to do certain things that I know as a good home person or business person is really useful and important, such as balancing a checkbook or basic skills in life that are going to help you get ahead. I love that. I love that. Yeah, just phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Was there a moment, perhaps when you first saw the power of home ownership or mentorship, and I know you talked a lot about service to humankind, that made you realize that this whole real estate gig was more than a career, but maybe a mission to change lives and close wealth gaps?
Because of how I got into real estate or got my license, um, it was never the forefront of I'm going to be super wealthy with this, sort of say. I wanted to buy nice things. Who doesn't? I
Sure.
wanted to have nice things, but wealth building was my focus, not getting rich. I guess it makes a difference on what I was looking for. To me, again, wealth is the legacy that you are leaving. It's not necessarily the amount of money you have in your pocket. Now, yes, we need money to build legacy. Um, I looked at real estate as a way to change a statistic, and I figured if I could change the statistic, then maybe I could change the wealth gap in the United States. Like, I
Wow.
had a really, really big
That's a
goal
big
in mind.
mission.
And,
Yeah, in
and
the US is
in the
not,
US,
or in the world is not usually the end of anyone's sentence about why they're doing a job. But
no,
it is actually the end of a sentence for a lot of people, or those rarefied people who are up to really big stuff, because it means that you didn't cap yourself.
no. No, I knew it would come, but like I said, to me, it was something bigger that's out there. Um, I looked at when originally I was like, okay, Tawanna, you're gonna sell these houses. Then you start falling down the rabbit hole. I wonder how many people own houses in Detroit. Oh, I wonder how many black people own houses in Detroit. I wonder how many single women own houses in Detroit. So my
Yeah.
mind has always went that way.
Yeah.
And when you start looking at numbers that way, you're like, oh my God, well, why is it such a gap? And I actually go to that next step. I looked and I was like, why is there a gap between African American home ownership and not? It's such a large gap. And we wanted, and that's just something I was like, I can change that. And everybody like, okay, Tawana, sure you can. I'm like, nope, watch. I'm going to change it. And of course, did I change it by myself? Absolutely not. It was a
Mhm.
perfect storm for us. There was government. Our mayor wanted, he was like, man, we got to do something around here. It looks bad. We should really do something about this blight. And so they start investing in parks. Well, if you make a nice park, and then the investors come over here and see, hey, this is pretty cheap. Fix it up. It's a nice park over here. Families will come. If we all work together for the same mission, you can move those gaps.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
move them. And so we did. We went from 38% in 2015 up to over 50% now in our area for African American home ownership. And in Detroit is really the nation needs to take a look at it because we're outpacing the rest of the nation.
That
So
is incredible.
when you say I want to do something,
Yeah.
shoot big, shoot
Yeah.
far. You never know where you're gonna land.
I love this. I agree. Set really big, audacious goals because even if you miss it, you will have done something that probably really surprised you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you can make a
Yeah.
bigger impact. Just the fact, and I want to re-highlight those statistics. In 2015, 38% of homes in the or sorry, 38% of Black Americans had homes in your area, and you went up to over 50% in
Hmm.
only what? I mean, we're talking 10 years. That's
Yeah.
incredible because we're in 2025. That's unbelievable. That's a huge statistic. And that means for me, I think even just one family at a time, because one thing that struck me with what you said earlier is you said, I'm going to change this. And someone said, okay, sure. But I realized it only actually took one for you to change that number, even just one.
One
Because if
extra.
all you ever did was one person, one family, you did change that statistic. And I think we forget that even at small amounts, we can really make changes. Because when I think about just one family, one person, one single woman or whatever, maybe single mom, you're talking about changing the life and trajectory of that person and any of their kids, maybe their neighbors, maybe someone they decide to help. It's unbelievable what one can do. It's like your grandma made a difference for you, and now look at you out there making a difference, and your father as well. So every great rise, I want to kind of switch gears a little bit and talk about the rise. So every great rise, as it's on the sign here, comes with defining challenges. What was one of the toughest moments in building Team Peterson-Jackson, and how did you turn that obstacle into a catalyst for growth?
The one of the toughest moments in building was when we first started.
Okay.
Um, LaShawn and I really didn't want a team. And I tell people this all the
Mhm.
time. I never really wanted a traditional real estate team. Team Peterson Jackson has always been around because LaShawn, my wife, and I are a team. Team Peterson Jackson, right? So when we decided to do an actual traditional standard real estate team, the first person that I wanted on my team was my cousin Marilyn. And I remember her coming into the office and she was crying this day. And she said, cuz I want, she was, something was going bad in her life. I called her Peachy. And something was going bad in Peachy's life. I said, I tell you what, because I was always super busy. I'm helping, I'm changing the world, right? I said, I
Yeah.
tell you what, kid, go get your real estate license. And if you come back, I promise you, I'm going to make all your dreams come true. So I said, and I tell people this all the time. They don't listen to me, cuz, but go ahead. And she left. And a week later, because it's 40 hours in Michigan, if you buckle down and get your license, a week later she came in and said, cuz, I got it. Um, in that same week, she said, "Oh, but the cancer did come back, but that's okay. We're
Oh,
gonna get past all that." And I'm like, "All right, cuz we ain't gonna
oh my
live
God.
in that. Cool.
Yeah,
Um, we're not living in that. We on a new path here,
yeah.
right?" And so for a few months, we were rocking and rolling. We had a couple of hurdles we had to do with EXP to get the team and just put our life in order. And I had went to visit my daughter. She was graduating college, and we were coming back. We had our team. We had interviewed people. We were ready to go. And I got a call in Houston that my cousin passed away, my younger cousin, Peachy.
Oh,
And I just she worked in the office with us. We lost quite a few agents because she has such a big impact on people's lives there. And they just was like, Tawana, I can't even. And it kind of hurt me because I'm like, that's my blood cousin, you guys.
yeah.
And they were like, I can't come to the office anymore because all I see is her. So
Oh,
we all were hurting so bad. Um, and then oh, and I'm sorry, Peachy passed away a week after my brother did. And a week
oh,
before, no, about 3 days before my aunt did. So
oh.
all three happened in my family in a short period of time.
That is so
And I
hard.
had this team that we were starting,
Oh
and I
my,
had to still show up because I had clients. And I
yeah,
just did not think I was going to be able to see my way through it. And even sometimes now, the pain will sneak in on me.
it will.
Um,
Yeah,
it just out the blue. I'm like,
yeah,
what the heck is going on? You know,
yeah.
um,
It's a gut punch, you know?
It
Yeah,
is, it
yeah,
is. But I
yeah,
said if I could get through this, if I could get through this, I would not let anything take me down. And it has been some other challenges,
yeah,
especially when you have a team.
yeah.
People come and go, people
Very
you
much.
love come and go.
Yeah,
Um, but I got through it. And if I
yeah.
got through that, I'm gonna hang out here in life until and see what else is available for me.
Yeah,
So
that's amazing because it's true that you, as difficult as all of that is, you are able to view future problems through a lens that says, "You know what? You're just not worth the sadness of that moment. You know, you are not worth
no,
this problem today is just is not defining enough compared to what you had to deal with because those people's lives meant so much to you. It does
right.
really put anything else that comes up into rather harsh, kind of minimal perspective. Like, okay, this is, I can make it through this because I made it through this other thing that was so much more meaningful, and so much harder. And I do think it is amazing what you did because it sounds like Peaches, and I hope I'm getting that right. Her life was made so much better. What more of it that she was able to have because of you guys and the fact that you inspired her to have that job and got to work with her. I was imagining in my mind, what if that had not been the case? You know?
She had the best year. And I told her
Mhm.
kids, I told her sister, her mom, she had the best year. It was
Uh,
like rock star around here at the time. We were coming out of COVID. We were all able to get together, not really all the way out, but we decided to kind of have a party. And I still that video of her, and the photographer was able to capture the joy in the moment that she experienced at our holiday party.
yeah.
And I remember calling her the next day because I caught COVID. So
Oh.
we had this party, and I was like, "Oh my god, cuz everybody's sick." And people jumped in the chat because I was like, "Oh my god, y'all, I done caught COVID, right?" And folks were jumping in the chat and was like, "Tawana, I catch it again because that party was lit." It was like we just talked about it, talked about it. And of course, a few months later, we end up losing her. But it was
Yeah,
such a joy to see her in her element and
yeah,
closing houses. And I remember her crying at showings because her
yeah,
clients were crying and because they had they now have their own first home and
yeah,
her getting to experience all the joys.
yeah,
And I tell people, like, with real estate, we get to experience some amazing happy moments.
This is so true. I mean, you're literally giving me goosebumps just, listening to you because yeah, from day one, people used to ask me, "Oh, what do you think about being a realtor?" And it's kind of crazy out there. And I said, "You know what? I I basically get goosebumps, and tear up, 2 to 4 times a month because I'm handing keys to someone and this is literally changing their life. Or it's the new home that they're going to have their first child, or, I was able to help someone whose grandparents passed away or something like that, and they needed to, take care of their estate or whatever. But it is, if you do your job with passion and you have some humility and kindness, it is, like you say, some really amazing joys. I've never had any other job like it where we impact people quite so much in like a heartfelt way because your home is
Yeah,
your home. Because your home is your home. It's where all your memories, it's, your whole life's experience is going to be summed up inside those walls, whether you're about to or whether you've already done it and you're selling. It's unbelievable.
yeah.
So I also wanted to ask you, and by the way, as an employer, I just want to kind of put a point in that, put a pin in that, which is to say, as an employer, you were able to employ your cousin and change her life's experience, for what would it end up being the last chapter. And as sad and bittersweet as that is, it is still sweet. And I
Yeah.
know, and I've known from my own self as well, we get to really change people's lives at the employer employee level as well, and it's one of the greatest things, it's to provide opportunity to people, and you and I find ourselves in that position. So you often speak about lifting others and changing the statistics in this business. And I know very powerful statistics that you just shared. Who were the leaders or role models who poured into you, and what principles from them still guide how you lead today inside the industry? People maybe whose coattails you followed.
Oh, so many. Let me see. I would say the very first lesson I got was from a brokerage in Farmington Hills when we were working there. And I cannot remember the young lady's name, but LaShawn and I sometime will say the quote back to each other. And it sounds so bad, but we look at each other and we always say, don't mess with broke people. Don't mess with broke people. Now, English was her first language. So she was just trying to navigate learning English, getting the license, becoming a citizen. It was all so much, and she was very, very, very successful. I'm like, how is it possible that you are closing so much like this? And she looked at me and said, don't mess with broke people, and kept walking. And I was like, okay. So that was like lesson one. So, and sometimes we just yell it out at people because we have to realize you're buying real estate. You got to have some money to buy it, right? This is the highest priced commodity on the planet, land. It is. So you can't spend your time around those who are not financially prepared to make that leap or don't have the will to get financially prepared to make the leap. And so I carried that, like, you got to help those who want the help and are willing to help
Okay.
themselves.
Yeah.
That was my one. The next one that really kind of stuck out, and if your podcast listeners are on the West Coast at all, it was a gentleman with EXP. His name was Rick Jiha. And he was I met him at one of the EXP events. And the reason we locked eyes is because we both had on these dope suits. And I remember him saying, I went up to talk to him and I told him, I said, I love your outfit. And he said, I love your outfit. And a very short time, we only had a minute between moving to the next class. And he said, always dress in a suit. People remember you in a suit. And as you see, you mentioned when we were at EXPCon, we had our suits on and walked across the stage. So people remember you by the way you present yourself. So I
Um,
try to dress well. That was another
yeah.
one.
That's such a good one, and it's funny because these are really simple life rules, but that I don't think, people share very often. But, one that I like, and perhaps it was Gary Keller or someone who had said it, dress for the job that you want to have, not the one that you currently have. And I would
Yes,
say a little bit further from that is at least dress for the job that you have, show up at a higher level. Um, one of my gals the other day, and this is incredible. She used to work for McDonald's, and she worked for them for 11 years. I mean, that shows a lot of dedication and loyalty, actually. And she was in the
absolutely.
management and this kind of thing, but she worked at one location for 11 years, and she ended up coming around us because she was finally able to purchase a home, and she's still being mentored by us right now, but it's really kind of incredible because sometimes in the beginning, she would show up one day looking great, another not quite. And I said to her one day, you know what, if you want to earn a lot of money, you need to show up looking like money. And it was really fun because we kind of made a joke about it. We're doing a one-on-one at the time, but then here we were this Monday, and I said, okay, what's your win? And she said, this client I'm helping, whatever. And she said, and you know what? I also showed up looking like money today. And she's like, I'm going to make money all day long. And it was like, yes. And in fact, she showed up in her first suit that I have seen her wear. And so it's not falling on deaf ears. That you're right. It is more memorable. And when you and your wife graced that stage in Miami last week, 4,000 plus people cheering for you, just screaming. Man, you did not disappoint, and you were memorable, because you guys walked across the stage. I think you later said, I had said they might be Gucci. You said, okay, they're Christian Dior. But man, you
Yes.
guys had satin suits on, like satin three-piece or whatever. And I was, oh my God, they are going for broke here. And it was phenomenal. I'm going to have to look because I hope I have a picture of you guys or a little video clip because it was amazing. But I love that. So, your success seems built on consistency and intention. What specific habits or mindset shifts helped you move from good to great? And how do you keep those habits alive as your business or businesses and platform grows? What has you succeed at like a granular level?
Again, I'm really simple, guys. What moved me from being good to great was the thing that we all learned in sixth grade, and everybody had to go buy one when we went to middle school, a planner. Get yourself a planner. Right? Write it down. I know
100%.
we have digital everything. We have every AI at our fingertips and constantly on our phone, and we can have all of these
Mhm.
things. But
Yeah.
writing your schedule down, writing your list down,
Mhm.
time blocking your day out is a game changer. And it definitely is the one thing that I did to move the needle. And I am late for everything. If you tell me 4, I'll be there at 4:01. Okay? But I'm there. They're like, "Tawanna should be pulling up," and there she is. You know, you
Yeah.
can so that keeps you in check. It keeps your business in check.
Mhm.
I start tracking first my time, and then I started tracking and writing down on that planner how many deals I wanted to do every month. I didn't put, people like, oh, what's your numbers or all of that? I said, I can live great if I can just close 4. Because if I close 4, that's one every week. And that has always been my policy. If I close 4, we're good. We can eat this month. Now, when it get to those months in Michigan, when you only got 3,
Yeah.
I'm a mad person. So the month afters, I usually have 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. But that has always been like a standard. And I think as a new agent, that should be your standard is to try to go for those 4 closings a month. Now,
Yeah.
and don't make it, oh, I want 4 listings. I want 4 this. You get too complicated. And that's the simplicity of having just a write down, just a even writing my list down before I go to bed. Oh my goodness. You want some productivity? Write you a to-do list before you go to sleep and look at it when you wake up in the morning. Jumping out the bed. You have so much to do.
Mhm.
So that
Mhm.
definitely. And then you can add all the fancy stuff like Google Calendar, bing, Tawana get up, bing, all of that
Yeah,
extra things. But the write down was the start for me.
I think that's fantastic. And what I find also with a lot of leaders is that what it is that has them be able to lead or be a high producer or regularity like that, it actually is simple and repeatable. It is something that is totally logical, totally common sense. It's simple, it's easy to do. You don't need fancy software, and it is in fact repeatable. And it's probably as old as time. It's probably as old as time, and we're not the inventors of it. But if you'll do it every day, it's like I mentioned to my agents, keep a schedule that you'll follow. Keep it wherever on whatever device or whatever piece of paper that you'll look back at all the time, because
Hmm.
that's the one you should use. And definitely, like you said, your time is valuable when you're in sales. Your time is money. You
Yeah.
have to, in order to convert that time into money, you gotta plan it in a way that makes sense. Um, you lead a fast moving organization. You mentor countless agents and you travel nationally to speak. How do you personally stay grounded and preserve your own well being and while managing such a demanding schedule?
So during the months between April 1st and October 31st, LaShawn and I are campers. We have always liked to camp. So there is this
Ah,
campground not too far from us that we have a permanent spot on. And it takes us probably about 25-30 minutes to get there from the office. Um, Maybe 20 minutes to get there from our house. And when we leave the office on Thursday, we start working up from the campground until Monday. So that's part of what we do. If I have appointments or anything, I take them from there. So just getting away and being able to breathe and do something that you like to do, is just amazing. So we make sure we do take some time out for that. We spend a lot of time with our family, which is another reason that they all work with us because
yeah,
we all spend time together.
yeah,
So it's just something about having a family meal. And
yes.
this again, to me, being with my team doesn't feel like a lot of pressure or work. Every
Hmm.
Thursday, our team has a mastermind and we all eat together. So I get that family feeling, on Thursday. And if it's in the afternoon, we'll have lunch. And two times out the month, we do it in the evening for our part-time agents. So after work, that they can attend the meeting, we have great attendance. We learn, we share, and then we eat together, and it always turns into like being around your favorite cousins or brother and sister at a party or something with the family. So having that kind of culture around me all the time really really helps, even during the hard parts of life. One of our team members, his son attends college, and I think about a month ago, he was missing. And we, got together and we did a search party and went up to that college, and we were like, we're gonna find him today. We said we put everything out. We were walking around giving flyers, um and we found him.
Ah,
We found him. We
that's
found
amazing.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah. It was about I think about 10 of us that went up to the campus, and they were like, what are you guys doing here? Well, y'all haven't given us any information.
yeah,
And so, it was a good story on that end when it's so many times it's bad stories.
yes.
So just having that family environment, that culture within the team, it helps to keep me grounded. It helps to, if
Mhm.
you build something that you love,
Yeah.
and that doesn't pull you away from your values or your personal mission in life, man, you're gonna love being around it. And I find that with the people that we choose in our circle.
I love that. And, I can only imagine it's such a benefit to you. And I think that's so important how you mentioned that as a leader, if you build an organization, an environment that you love being in, then and if it reflects your values, then you're going to want to be there. You're going to want to commit yourself. You're going to want to spend the time. But the fact also, I can imagine being on your team. This must help your retention. This must have a whole lot of knock-on effects, positivity in this tradition that you've built, being able to create a warm environment for people and a familial sense where people work. And I would even imagine you're pouring kind of some of that back out. It probably leaks back into their life, and maybe now they do a Sunday dinner with family or something. If maybe they were not, this is
I hope
something you
they
can
are.
grow.
I
Yeah.
really hope
You'll
they
have to
are.
take a
Yeah.
poll one day
Yeah, I'm
and
gonna
just
ask
ask
them.
them, just say Heather Mansy wants to know,
Yeah.
because I do think that's incredible. I absolutely love how you systematized camping. And you made the
Yes.
point, because real estate doesn't really go away. It sort of follows us wherever we go. So if you're going to systematize every single weekend to be camping for, 4 or 5 months out of the year, then you got to figure out how to make your work happen in that too. But you're just saying, like, when we're away, you're gonna take those appointments from there. So maybe you have to leave and come back or whatever. Maybe you have to Zoom or take a phone call. But you're able to just do that. I want to see your campground because I'm
Okay.
wondering how to look nice and get your hair done. And I don't know, like show up looking great at an appointment. But
Oh, well, it is now. We have moved up. We started with a little pop-up travel trailer, then we moved up to a larger one after that instead of having a real, no, I wouldn't say real, but instead of having a full wedding and a reception, LaShawn
yeah,
and I went to Vegas for $99. So we took
okay.
our money and purchased a travel trailer instead, and it had the
Oh,
bathroom,
phenomenal.
queen bed, bunk beds for
Ooh,
grands, and we traveled
okay.
all over Michigan. But our schedule has always been we're going to leave out on Thursday to go camping, and we'll be back like Monday afternoon. And
Fantastic.
this is something that's been going on with us for the last 13 years now. But this one
Oh
is
my
more of a
gosh.
permanent house. It's like on a
Sure.
lake, and it's a
Okay.
structure. So it's
Yeah.
got internet and kitchen and all of the good stuff. But you can go
I am
outside
in
and
love. I am just in
barbecue.
love. I'm coming to Michigan. I'm gonna stay with you one weekend. I don't know. Just
Yes, yes, you will
not to
love it.
interrupt your time, but yeah, I think that's amazing. I love the out of doors, and boy, people are really going to get something out of this because where there's a will, there's a way. And for 13 years, you talk about happy marriage. Go camping for 4 months out of every year for 13 years. That's unbelievable. So kudos to you on that one. Um, so, for women who aspire to lead in business or real estate, but they feel that the odds are maybe stacked against them, or maybe people of color for that matter, women of color, what is the first mindset or move that they should adopt in order to start shifting their reality, or make it possible for them to be able to just make a change?
So I know we don't like to hear this, but we ourselves are our biggest haters sometimes, ladies.
Uh, yeah.
We are. We talk ourselves out of so much. We won't go to an interview because, of course, they wouldn't hire me. I wear locks. You don't
Uh-huh.
know what position that they're in. And I say that because at one point in my life when I was growing them, I felt that. Um, But that's internal things. That's internal things. So as much as I was in that place where they were like, "Oh, just think more positive, to want to think higher." I'm like, you can't think higher when you're drowning, right?
Yeah.
Um, it is just as simple as telling that little person that's inside of you, no, they are going to hire me because I do have dope locks. Just switching it around.
Yeah.
Um, they need me at this company because my God, I have a master's degree. So just change your thought process. Pick that thing that you know that makes you great and walk into that. It was one agent that would tell us that agents, when they come into the office and they have closing, got a totally different strut than when they come in and they don't
Mhm.
have anything under contract. It's a different walk. Watch them.
Mhm.
Your shoulders lift up.
Yeah.
You gotta it's closing. It's
Yes.
closing. Oh,
Yes.
you ask them sometime, "Oh my goodness, where are you going?" "Oh, I have a closing today." You dress
Oh,
totally
you know
different.
it. Yeah,
You just so you are prepared for the success. Your body is prepared because the success is there. I see it. You have
yes,
to prepare for success and know it's going to come to you. My grandmother always told me, stay ready so you do not have to get ready. Stay ready. Be ready
fantastic.
for that success. It's coming. It's coming. It's destined for you. You just have to believe in it and tell that little girl that's inside of you telling you you're not good enough, you're too dark, you're too this, you're ugly, or you're big, or you this. Tell her I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. And
Yeah.
you got to make your future self happy too. I always look out for future Tawana. She going to love me when I get there.
Ooh, this is so good. I feel like that's just a whole nother conversation. It's almost like an entire journal entry of like,
Yeah.
how would I make my future self be happy? What can I do now that, my future self was really gonna appreciate later? Um,
Yes.
so you've spoken about preparation, excellence, and client care as cornerstones of your success. What are two or three non-negotiables that you hold yourself and your team to when it comes to driving growth with integrity?
Non negotiables. We don't like liars around Team Peterson-Jackson.
Okay.
We do not like it. I can help. I don't care if you're wrong. Tell me the truth.
Uh-huh.
Let me know what I'm getting into. Because if I get there and you lied, I'm embarrassed. And I no one wants an embarrassed Tawana. So we don't like liars. I even tell my clients, be honest with me up front. If you
Mm,
don't have the money, tell me today. Let's go look for it now. I don't like surprises.
mhm.
LaShawn always said we're older, we don't like a lot of rigmarole.
Yes.
Rigmarole, a lot of
Yeah. Not a lot of
drama,
nonsense.
a
Yeah.
lot of extra. So we don't
Yeah.
like a lot of things like that. Um, I give respect. I expect respect back. So one true non-negotiable is disrespect. We
Mm,
actually wrote the values out as a team and came up and everyone voted. And I said, every person on this team put disrespect as number one. That was like, we will not accept it. From a client, how much you're paying, money is it doesn't make sense for us to sell ourselves out for the disrespect. So
yeah.
we have high values with that. We believe in fighting for our clients tooth and nail. I mean, and it has been some where I'm like, y'all, you are giving CPR and the deal is dead. And they're like, no, Tawana, no, no. I'm like, there is no life left, and they will still try. They will
Yes.
still try. And I love that
I
about
love
them.
that. Fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that about them.
So good. Those are so good. I wrote down a bunch here. It's amazing. So you've already built, and I know our time is getting short here. You've already built an incredible business and inspired so many through your speaking and mentorship. My own team is a great example. When they learned that I was speaking with you today, they were immediately excited. So like, she's amazing. Oh my God. So because they've had the good luck to see you speak as well. So what is next for Towanna Peterson-Jackson and your team? And when you look years ahead, what legacy do you most hope to leave in this industry and in the lives that you've touched?
So what is next? What we are currently working on would be our getting our Houston team
Mm,
up and running well. We have an office down there. We have 10 agents that are looking to help. We have listings, so they've been out just becoming listing agents. I love that for them.
yeah,
That they've already like, hey, this is what we want to do and what we want to work on. So we've been doing that. And big shout out to my friend Jessica Nieto with 1EXP, who has been just as a friend helping us build that. Like, what do you need me to do? I'm like, Jessica, you're way in Oregon. I can fly. So it's
Wow.
big kudos to having friends like that. Um, just LaShawn got us some new systems out here we're learning and incorporating, so I'm excited about that. We are helping with our, what we're doing for next month is we're trying to feed 50 families. We
Oh my
did
gosh.
25 last year. One of our cousins, he is a pastor. I'm sorry, he's a deacon. Her cousin is also a pastor of the church, and he said, y'all gave us 25 baskets last year. I was like, yeah, I remember you called me the day before. We were running around. It was crazy. He said, okay, I'm giving you a month notice now, so you should be able to double it. So we have been just trying to help, of course, do the food drive with the people there. We do in the spring. LaShawn and I are owners of a title company, Title Icon. So in the spring, in the winter, we do a coat drive to try to give out children in the Metro Detroit area, make sure they have coats. So just really trying to give back and make our impact as big as possible, our community impact as big as possible. On a personal note, as having a father as a pastor kind of wear you out of church a little bit as you get older. So
Yeah.
we've been on a search looking for our next church home, which has been great. Because we are very picky people. So it
Yeah.
has to line up right just within. So that has been an incredible journey for me and LaShawn to be on together. And then we're enjoying that part of it because I love gospel music. Or you
Oh
got
yeah.
my mother had 8 brothers and sisters, and all grew up in the church. And my grandmother on my maternal side was, a mother for years, and my grandfather was a deacon. So the gospel music and the singing is just very center to our life. So I'm excited about that. As far as legacy. We were able to have this amazing wedding for our youngest daughter, Indy, this year. She got married
Oh.
at the Henry Ford Museum. So I'm hoping maybe we'll get another grandkid
Oh.
someday soon.
I've heard grandkids are amazing. I would be so excited for you on that.
Yeah, so we have 2 already. They're 9, and they were a big reason I wanted to be able to leave my grandkids and have something proud. And just to hear your grandchildren say, "Oh yeah, well, I'm going to go to college, but I'll be getting my real estate license at 18, and then I'm going to take that to college with me." And so I have to be
Oh my
ready
gosh.
and prepared to take over my grandmommy and nana's business. And so
Wow.
just,
Yeah.
we're always thinking about,
Mhm.
what that next generation is going to happen. And
Yeah.
and we've had so many babies born on our team.
Oh.
We haven't been in business at all. I had a little 2-year-old twins that were just here. We got 3-year-old, 2-year-old little babies, and our kids. It's always kids bustling in this office. So I know it's
Yeah.
good soil, good energy here because when
Yeah.
you have a bunch of kids around you, it's just always looking for the future.
I
So
agree. I think that's phenomenal. Well, I can tell you that, just on behalf of our audience, that they're going to be able to learn so much from you, from how you run your organization, from how, you were able to learn from your grandmother on down and your father, and just the kindness and heart with which you lead and with which you continue to move forward through your life. So I just want to tell you what an honor it has been to speak with you today, and just how special it's been. So for our audience, we'll be doing some takeaways. So stay tuned for that, and then we'll have a great worksheet and things like that for you guys as well in just a moment. Well, folks, that's it for today's podcast. Thank you so much for joining us on Women Who Rise, the success podcast for ambitious women. Today, Towanna taught us number one, mentoring and providing value in what she called service to humanity, looking at even her grandma with a sixth grade education who was teaching people how to balance their checkbook, how to take care of their families, how to organize themselves. On to Tawana and her wife, who worked so hard to mentor others. This idea of service started early in her life with her father, one of her favorite people, and just understanding that even if you've got imposter syndrome and you're thinking, gee, I'm not good enough, I don't know enough, I don't have anything of value to offer someone, just go out and do it. Give something to someone and understand there is always someone who is less privileged or less educated or less knowledgeable than yourself. Because if a woman with a sixth grade education can teach people how to balance their checkbook and provide value to families, there is something for you that you can bring to this world that you can teach as well. Number two, if you create an environment you love that aligns with your values in the business that you have or that you're a part of, then that is a place you will always want and love to operate within, and it will fuel you and feed you. So for them, they created a familial environment. They have a weekly team meeting where they're providing a meal and they're all sitting down and eating together. They have another one, I think it's once a week, where they're doing it in the evenings so that even their part-timers can come and enjoy in that and just be part of a work family. And this family value can extend to a bigger unit, such as your place of work. Number three, prepare for success. And as her grandmother often said, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So this came also on a quote that she said a gentleman had told her, which was, always wear a suit. People will remember you if you wear a suit. And it was fascinating, and it was something that she loved. She picked up. She was wearing a suit. He was wearing a suit in a community function, and just understanding that this is something that going back to be dressed for the job you want, dress well for the job you have, be ready for that success so that success can come to you and you can attract other successful people. You can attract a win for yourself that day. Number four, give respect and expect respect in return. And she said that was whether it's your clients, whether it's among the sales team, it is their number one or their first stated value among their real estate team. This is just a core value for them. They give respect and they expect respect in return, and they have a no tolerance policy for any disrespect. And that really helps them to maintain a better work environment. And then she did mention, think higher. Be willing to change a statistic. The statistic she chose to change was home ownership in her region. And it was a statistic she felt was too low among Black homeowners in her Michigan community. And she wanted to change that. And she had a hand in being able to change that statistic from 38% of homeowners or 38% who were homeowners to over 50% who are now homeowners in her community. Be willing to make a difference no matter how big or small. And then she also mentioned, we are our biggest haters. You need to think higher even when you're drowning, and you can do it. Be willing to have big goals, be willing to shoot high, be willing to say you want to make a difference, and that will give you something to shoot for when you're out there trying to make your daily life be something that it has meaning and gets you out of bed and gets you going in the morning. So many more takeaways. You've got to listen to the episode, go through it. Please visit our website to find our episode guide and worksheet that will help you use these tips to take action in your own life. Like and subscribe and join us everywhere podcasts are streamed. We can't wait to bring you more incredible content every week so that you can rise in your own lives and careers. Again, thank you so much. Heather Mansy, signing off.